The studio tonight, sister of Cymatics, Caesar of Cymatics. Caesar, how are you doing? I just read something saying sister. Caesar of Cymatics, how are you doing?
You're right, Dave. How are you?
Yeah,
Thank
really
you very
good.
much for having me.
Hey, no, listen, thanks for coming down. It seems like it's been in the planning for quite a while that you're going to join us. It's really good to have you in the studio. I'm going to play one of your tracks in a minute and we're going to talk to you about your career so far, future plans, and you're going to play live for us in the studio as well. Before we put the track on, you are going to go on your Insta Live in a minute. If anyone wants to follow you and watch, what's the best place to head to?
Go to Caesar of Cymatics on Instagram. You can just type it in and then bam, I'm there in your face.
Get that done. If you don't want to just hear Caesar, if you want to watch Caesar as well, follow Caesar on Insta. He is going to go live on his Insta in a minute, and of course we're going to have him live in the studio on Tameside Radio. We're going to have a chat to him shortly. First of all, this is a track of Caesar of Cymatics. Tell us about this song before we play it. It's Plain Knowing.
Well, it all started in 2021, and I wrote the track. I was going through a sort of unrequited love of sorts, and there was the girl that I didn't like it. It's the same old story, really. My dad got in contact with an old mate of his who's a producer, and he got me to come down and sort of just, record it, see if I had any ideas. I had that song. Put it there, and then that was not released for about a year, and then suddenly I was like, okay, I'm going to release it.
Well, let's have it. We're going to go live on Caesar's Insta in a minute. Of course, you're listening to Tameside Radio as well. Caesar's going to play live for us in the studio. We're going to have a chat about the career of Caesar of Cymatics. First of all, this is a track by Caesar. It's called It's Plain Knowing.
There's much to do with hate, yet more with love.
Great track, that, and it's Caesar of Cymatics on Tameside Radio, and It's Plain Knowing. You are listening to Dave Sweetmore. It's the Dave Sweetmore Show, live every Monday night, 7 till 9, 2 hours of indie anthems, maximum rock and roll, and the best in brand new music. And what you've just heard really is the best in brand new music. Caesar of Cymatics, and it is a real pleasure to say joining me on his Insta Live page and live on Tameside Radio. Caesar, how are you doing?
Hello there, Dave. How are you?
You've just switched your Insta on. You've got loads of your fans and that watching already. What we're going to do for the next 10-15 minutes, as well as hear one of your tracks live, is we're going to find out about you. Let's go back to the beginning. The first thing I want to ask you, Caesar of Cymatics, where does the name come from?
Right, the name. So, my dad pretty much showed me a video, and it was a sort of science thing, right? And it was basically, there was a plate of sand, like a big metal plate, and underneath that was a speaker, and it was emitting a sort of frequency, and that was creating shapes and patterns within the sand, and I thought that was really interesting. I like the word. It's just a nice word. And then the Caesar part is alliteration.
It's great. It is a great name, and it's a memorable one as well. You've just mentioned about the name, but let's go right back to the beginning. What are your early memories of music? What was the first time you realised, hang on, music, it's going to do something to me?
Right, well, here's the thing. It's not really such of a thing of I realised it, but it was this is a sort of nostalgic memory for me. My dad and I, we always used to go down to Southport, well, the entire family, really, and he had a mixtape of a bunch of tracks on there. And there's one track that I remembered hearing when I was 2 or 3 years old, something like that. And I still have the memory of it. And the song was called Little Eyes by Yola Tango. Right. And that sort of stuck with me. That's the earliest.
Was your dad a big music fan as well?
Yeah, he was a big music fan, did a lot of stuff in the 90s and stuff. Did a lot of experimental, weird music. Did a lot of stuff in the local scene as well. My Uncle Andy was in the Chameleons.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, great band
and stuff. It's one of my favourites of all time.
Swamp Thing, an absolute Manchester anthem.
Honestly, it's I like to call it stadium music that never plays the stadium.
It's true. It's a good way of putting it. So you discovered that through your dad. You got into that. Your uncle were in the Chameleons. Who were your first influences that you got on board with yourself? Who did you discover yourself?
Well, I discovered a band called Lovejoy. And that's run by a guy called Wilbur Sutt, and he was a Minecraft streamer. And I was 13 years old. It was during lockdown, and I heard a couple of his songs, and then suddenly he made the band, and I was like, you know what, I do want to give this a go, and I want to start writing songs properly. And I wrote one of my first songs, which is sort of inspiration from him. And yeah, I'm not going to mention the name of that song because it is out there. But you're not getting your grubby little mix on that, Dave.
We'll have to find it. We'll have to dig that out. So you're into music. You know, we've spoken a bit over the last few months. You got into music. You picked up a guitar. You were writing songs at a young age. When was the point that you decided, right, well, I can play guitar, I can sing, I can write my own songs? When did you think, I'm going to put this out there for the public as well as for myself?
Well, that was I always really wanted to do it like properly, but there was a lot of pressure because the social media account that I already had, because I was a Minecraft streamer for a bit, that was sort of overrun by a lot of just not very nice people. And, you know, obviously social anxiety gets the best of you and you sort of go back into yourself a bit. But then suddenly I was like, you know what, I can just start a new account. I can just start from the ground up. I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to do it professionally. And it's going to be good and fun. You've
certainly done that, because the quality of the recordings, the production and that is brilliant. It's really, really good. Am I right in thinking that the music you write and the songs you put out there, it's not just a case of this is great music, these are great lyrics? Am I right in saying it's quite personal as well?
It is very personal, yeah. I mean, a lot of bands, you know, they always do write from perspective and stuff. And I'm the same. It's, you know, it's what music does to you, innit? It sort of creates that personal connection.
I think the fact how honest and real you are as well must be really appealing to your fan base as well. So you started playing, you started writing, you started putting music out there. Over the last few years, if people are listening to this for the first time, and it's the first time they've heard of Caesar of Cymatics, what music have you got out there now and where can people find it?
Well, I've got 3 singles out so far, and I'm going to be announcing a new one very soon, which I'm also going to play here in the studio. And yeah, you can all go find it on Spotify, YouTube, whatever you like.
Really, really looking forward to finding out more about that and hearing about it in a minute. As well as that, there's 2 things I want to pick up on before you do play a song for us, is reading your bio, and we've been in touch over the last few months and stuff. Your work ethic is second to none as a young musician, going out there, handing CDs out, going Afflecks and all that. Where would you say that work ethic comes from? Because when I read it, it was like, whoa, he's a grafter.
Well, it just sort of comes from the idea that, you know, it's just time that you're spending. You're not spending money by going out and then, well, you are, but like, you know, 10 quid. Like, you know, what does 10 quid mean? To get like, you know, 50 new people really, really interested and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's, you know, it doesn't always work, but people do pick up on names. I mean, it's like when the Stone Roses went around and they used to graffiti their names and stuff, you know. Clearly someone must have seen that and gone, oh, it's them, I remember seeing that.
The one thing you said before that I did pick up on off air was it's the personal touch as well.
Yeah, it very much is.
So that's you know what I mean? It's brilliant. I absolutely love that. And then the other thing is the fact that you've done 2 gigs so far, and the gigs you've done, gigs that I'd say bands who have been going 12, 18 months, 2 years would love to play on. Your first 2 gigs that you've done have been Manchester Academy.
Yeah, they have. They went pretty well. I enjoyed them. It's a thing of, I'm always looking to improve, but, you know, it's a thing of, at the end of the day, it's an experience, and, you know, if I can become lucky and, you know, get in touch with these great promoters and they, you know, put on these shows for us, then
do you know what? You're really, really humble about that, because the fact you're playing at Manchester Academy so soon into your career is really, really special. How do you end up getting gigs like that, going from playing in your bedroom to playing in one of the most iconic venues in Manchester?
It's just building connections, really, isn't it? Just sort of, you know, emailing places, getting to know people, them getting to know you, and then, bam, suddenly you're playing Manchester Academy.
It's brilliant. It really is. We're going to talk about the future of Caesar of Cymatics shortly. You are going to play a track for us in a minute, your brand new track, which I'm going to let you introduce. Before we do any of that, the other thing I want to ask you about is you are the Ashton Young Achiever of the Year award winner. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Yeah, you see, Dave, that's just all luck, right? Because
no, it's not. He's too humble.
No.
He's too humble.
No, right, Dave, right, listen to me. So the other guy that was running up against me, Elliot, he's an absolutely wonderful person, right? And he's absolutely brilliant. And I reckon that he actually deserved to win it more than I did. But I reckon, because he's got facial hair and I haven't, they just went, oh, poor kid, he hasn't got facial hair, let's just give him the award.
So you won it for being clean cut?
Pretty much. Well, I wouldn't say clean cut, just more my inability to grow a beard.
I don't believe that. Is it your music that got you that award?
Yeah, it was, because I got in contact with Kevin Taylor from About Tameside.
I was talking to him about you last week, actually. He came into our offices here at Quest Media and we were talking about you and stuff, and he said what a great, you know, real inspiration you are.
Cheers, yeah.
So I was talking to him about you, so yeah.
Yeah, brill. Well, yeah, it was sort of him that was like, yeah, you should do this. And I was like, oh, all right. And then I got people to try and nominate me, and it's all ended up here.
Well, stop being so humble. You've won the award. You smashed it, and you deserve it. You're going to play a track for us now. We are live on Tameside Radio. You're live on your Instagram page as well. Tell us about this track you're going to play for us.
Well, this one is a really, really personal track. This is one that I wrote recently after experiencing quite a traumatic event with an ex-partner of mine. And she sort of threw me away to the sidelines and whatnot, and sort of, you know, she's spread all these lies and stuff. I'm not going to go too deep into detail because it is very personal. But yeah, that song is just sort of about that. So,
and this is also going to be a song you're going to be releasing, I believe.
Indeed it is, yeah.
Tell us when we're going to be able to, fans are going to be able to pick up on this.
Well, it'll be 9th of December. So, yeah, it'll be out everywhere. You can pre-save it pretty soon. It's not officially announced yet, so this is exclusive right here.
Really looking forward to this. You are listening to Tameside Radio. It is the Dave Sweetmore Show. Caesar of Cymatics is live in the studio with us, and he's going to play a track now, which is going to be his brand new single that comes out on the 9th of December. This, live in the studio on Tameside Radio, is Sunday Mourn.
And she falls to sleep and falls to ground. Sweat comes seeping through her gown. She tried to make it back to bed as the sinner kisses her forehead, but she squeals in silence with her tears as pillow soaks up all her years. No, the sinner tries to keep her calm. The sinner tries to keep her calm. Tries to keep her calm, but it's just it is just another Sunday morn, another Sunday morn, just another Sunday morn. Off menus and paper cards with a rub-out pen. The sinner did not mean her harm. See bandages put on her arm. The poet only peers at view with her darkened hair and eyes are blue, but she sees the sinner in bad light as she storms him through unholy nights. Now, just another love for her. Just another Sunday morn. Just another love. It is just another Sunday morn.
Sounding absolutely amazing. You're listening to Tameside Radio. That's Caesar of Cymatics playing live in the studio a track called Sunday Morn that comes out on the 9th of December. Really, really good song, that. Going forward, you've got that single coming out on the 9th of December. Have you any plans of maybe releasing an album or an EP or anything like that? Or are you going to be very much a singles artist?
Well, I'm going to be very much a singles artist for now. It's the thing of I am definitely going to eventually release an album, but I feel like I need more tracks. I need more sort of, getting a feel for what I'm doing and just, because I want my debut album to be proper powerful. Do you know what I mean? I don't just want to throw some old singles onto there and call it a day. I want proper new, constantly evolving material on there. So yeah.
Do you find yourself listening to a lot of new music? Because I get the impression you listen to a lot of stuff that's perhaps not mainstream, maybe a bit experimental.
I do, yeah. There's one guy in particular called Commuted, who I've particularly been listening to a lot lately. He's very much influenced a lot of my work. I've seen him play live, absolutely amazing. He's very much a sort of abstract, interesting artist. And then another one is the Last Whole Earth catalogue as well, and they've been a big inspiration. So yeah, there we go.
What about going forward? We've mentioned before you played that song for us. You've done 2 gigs so far at the iconic Manchester Academy. You've got 1 gig coming up this Saturday, I believe, at the Deaf Institute. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so playing the Deaf Institute, being with supporting Lower Love Day along with Plastic Art. And that's going to be absolutely brilliant. We've got a new lineup, going to be playing new songs all around, including the new single. We've got, proper full band arrangements. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
What about after that, if perhaps people are listening that can't get to that gig on Saturday? Have you plans for any more gigs going forward, or is it a case of checking socials?
Yeah, just keep checking the socials. It'll be there eventually. We'll keep playing Manchester, keep on grafting. You know how it works.
If people do want more information about Caesar of Cymatics, where's the best place to go?
Well, if you want to go find all of my socials in one big place, you can go to my link tree, which is t.ee/Caesar of Cymatics, and you can find me there. And also just, most of my social media is just at Caesar of Cymatics anyway.
What does the future hold for Caesar of Cymatics?
Great. Can I describe it in one word?
You could describe it, as long as it's like radio friendly, you describe it in whatever you want.
Absolutely amazing, awesome, beautiful, yes, awesome, yes.
I love that. I love the confidence you have in your music as well. And, just watching you before with your fans on Insta and stuff like that, the personal touch obviously means a lot to you as well, which is amazing to see.
It's always the personal connections, really. That's the excitement that you get out of it, going to a gig, meeting someone that listens to your music, and, it's just great. It's just a great feeling.
Next week, you are our Artist of the Week on Local Music Spotlight. So from Thursday onwards, you're going to be in all the local newspapers, Tameside, Glossop and Oldham. You'll be on our website and our official Spotify playlist from Weekend. And then from Monday, your music will be played on every single show on Tameside Radio from 6 o'clock Monday morning till 7 o'clock on Friday night. So hopefully, there'll be a lot more people from Tameside and surrounding areas that discover your music. How important is it that a local commercial radio station like this gets behind local artists like yourself?
Well, it's really important. It's, a lot of the big mainstream radio networks, they won't play us. So, where do we turn to? Right here. And there you go.
Well, do you know what? Honestly, I can't wait for you to be our Artist of the Week next week. It's been a real pleasure having you in the studio. It's the first time we've met in person. Yeah. I'm sure it won't be the last. Do us one favour, though. I do reckon you're going to have a great future ahead of you in the world of music. You're just telling your determination. Keep in touch with what you're doing. Anything you're doing, let us know. Keep in touch with us and we'll keep plugging away at you. How does that sound?
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much, Dave.
Before we let you go, I'm going to play one more track now called Drawn in Rubber. Tell us a little bit about this track.
Well, this is one of my more darker tracks that I've written. It's a lot less personal. It's more about other people. It's sort of about, being compressed down in society. It's it's a lot of to do with a lot of self-worth, and the way that people measure themselves, and that's why it's called being drawn in rubber, because juxtaposition, you can't draw in rubber, that's stupid.
Do you know what, right? Honestly, I'm in a real fortunate position. For a very long time, I've interviewed a lot of musicians week in, week out. Every Monday night, we have a band or artist on this show, and I really believe that I could talk to you quite easily till 8 o'clock till the show finishes, till 9 o'clock till the show finishes. It's been a real pleasure having you in the studio. Caesar of Cymatics, can't wait to have you as Artist of the Week next week. Keep in touch, and all the very best for the future.
You too, Dave. Cheers.
Caesar of Cymatics live in the studio, and this is one of his tracks called Drawn in Rubber.